Thank you very much, Martin, for setting the stage. And yeah, hopefully everyone who's here, as Martin said, is really interested in what is, in our eyes, the next big thing in many ways. And I'm very happy that, as Martin just said, we could set this panel together because actually, in parallel, just 10 minutes away, the next reality festival is happening in Sandtorkei 27, led and established by Simon Graf, who I'm happy to meet here. I would say you are Mr. Immersive Tech Metaverse in the past for Germany. You are always on stage, bring things together. Your LinkedIn, your Instagram is full of all the new innovations. I most often see it first with you, I have to say. So thank you very much for being here and setting a little bit the stage of where the state of XR is at the moment. Then I brought Raphael from the developer side, who I'm happy to work with at the moment, because at Bertelsmann, we see also that this is the future. So from the investment side, Bertelsmann Asia Investment is actually invested in hardware, and we also brought some hardware to just showcase you what's happening at the moment. When you remember these huge goggles, is this what XR means, or are there other things coming up? And you are bringing the magic from the back end to the front end, where we see it, but of course we also need to know what's happening where you guys come into the game. And then I'm very happy, Thorsten, you just arrived on time. By train, by German train, to get here, which is even more exciting than XR sometimes, but yes, that's how it is. And Thorsten, from the university side, you work a lot with all devices. I know that you're always ahead of the game, really showcasing it also with the students, looking at what is going to be next, also from the marketing perspective. And we met last year for the first time IRL, as I would say, at the Next Reality Festival. So now it's all coming together, and Hamburg is quite most important for this. So thank you very much for being here. And as an opening question, what was the first moment when you realized, that you remember, this is going to be a real thing that will change how we perceive the world in the future? You want to start?
Yeah, I'd love to. So just a background for I think everyone who doesn't know me, so everyone in this room. So because I'm a business professor and I'm running a chair for marketing and media, and we have this XR lab founded, because we founded it in 2021, in the fall of 2021.
During COVID still?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was not sure whether, I think that was between the things we have forgotten. So one of those, and what happened is that a good friend told me, please come to, I'm going to send you a headset. Because somebody had made it available to him, and that person, I said, okay, what's going on? And we are going to meet in, that was not the metaverse, but in some social gathering. And I said, yeah, okay, great. So, and then I totally forgot about that. And actually my office manager, and when I was coming from the lecture, Zoom lecture, and then she said, I said, I'm tired, I can't do this headset thing. And she said, that's rude. That's really rude. Somebody sent it here. You have to do it. And I had so little interest that I even forgot to charge it, the whole thing, which had some consequences. And but in the end, what happened? I put it on, and just some minutes later, that was a Quest 1 device. Some minutes later, I was running around, jumping around our floor there, and shouting to everyone, "Is somebody still here from my doctoral students? Somebody here! Somebody here!" So that was. And then I met other people in this in this virtual meeting. It was an XR, social XR. And since then, I knew the world would change immediately. I asked everybody, so we are too late, we are too late. Why didn't we find out about this like 10 years ago? And but I found out I was not too late because we're still here and the whole world is still taking place outside of virtual realities. But it, and we
So
will
you
talk
really
about
had
that
this wow
Oh,
moment.
I had
Okay,
this
cool.
eureka moment, like I found it,
Anybody in the audience, have you all tested Quest, which is originally from, wasn't it Oculus, and then it was taken over by Meta?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So who has, okay, not most of you, not everybody in the room, okay. So these are like the bigger goggles that you might have seen sometimes, and which is, I think, now also running at Lufthansa in the business class, when I'm not fully mistaken. So even there, changes are being made. Okay, very cool. Raphael, did you also have kind of this moment, or was it more smooth?
I guess it was a little smoother, even though it's hard to say as an Android mobile developer, or at least focused on Android. The first touch point was the Apple Vision Pro, and I really liked it because the intuitiveness of the eye tracking, for example, which also comes to Android XR, was just great. You could use it right away, it was really great. And then later on, you brought me to the Europa Park, and we see a bunch of solutions that could arise from this technology, and that what really got me started.
Okay, for everybody who's not aware, Europa Park, you might all know, and it's an entertainment park, and at the moment they are rolling out immersive experiences in parallel to most attractions. So you can buy an add-on, and many people are actually doing this either to jump like the queue at some attractions, or because they can handle this. I couldn't, to be honest. You were doing all of this, but it's still kind of crazy.
I mean, to be honest, it was quite tough. So we went from one attraction to another, and I was just like, can we have a break here?
Yeah. That's what I thought too. Simon, I think you might have had the experience a little earlier than 2021, or even, I mean, starting with Apple Vision Pro is kind of unfair advantage to a very high quality product.
Might be. No, I actually tested VR for the first time in the 90s when I was 12 years old at Disney World in the US. And I wasn't entirely sold on the concept because it was utterly disappointing back then, for me at least. I mean, I was a child, right? So I was expecting like, oh my God, that's magic. I'm living in the computer now. But even it's just like, okay.
Which attraction was it?
Aladdin at Epcot Center. And then many years later, a friend of mine, he had too much money as a translator, and I was a poor and innocent student. And then he came up with the Dev Kit 1 by Oculus in 2013. And it was, compared to your story, Thorsten, relatively mundane. It was the Tuscany demo, where you would just simply explore a small little place that, from an architectural perspective, didn't make any sense. But it was nice to just move around back in the days with just a gamepad, of course, and 3 degrees of freedom headset. So my head movement would not translate into the virtual space. But I stood in front of a sunflower and was like amazed. It's just like, wow, future is now. And as it happened then, I had the opportunity to write my thesis at the University of Hamburg. I was just like, okay, media and communication studies, which way, like, should I analyze video games, movies, series? No, let's do something about VR. And here we are. From that on, like, VR has always been a part of, or XR has always been a part of my life ever since.
Okay, very cool. Circular moment. Mine was also at Disney World in Florida, and it was the worst experience ever because there was this time lapse, and I just felt like, oh my God, can I even stand still here? And I think for me, it has been like this really smooth development from more getting into how can immersiveness become like more intuitive and also like smoothly integrate into my everyday life. And we might show this a little bit later how it looks, because basically we are now coming from these big goggles to more sun glass-like devices that are very intelligent and, of course, AI-driven. This is where we see it all connected at the moment. But making the magic happen, I already asked you, Raphael, do you see with this fragmentation, we have talked a lot about different devices at the moment, that Android XR, which of course Google, Samsung, you see a lot of companies coming together now. Google Glasses might have been a little bit too early, Martin. I think this is sometimes like with innovation, when you are too early, there's not a high adoption rate, but now many companies are really focusing on that. What has to be built? Will there be a platform that really does it all, or maybe in parallel to Apple, or what do you see there as a developer?
So I see Android XR as a really great platform arising, even though there are particular things you would not implement in XR, Android XR directly. There comes some kind of unity into the play. So we have many games right now, even for the Meta devices, for example, and all of that can be integrated into an Android XR device, and I think that is really great. Besides that, we also have some user interaction to use UI, so two-dimensional UI, you will have it. Not entirely anymore, it will fade out, but you will have it. And this is, for instance, for Android XR, we got a declarative UI framework, even just like we got for Vision OS. And as of now, we don't have a cross-platform approach to that, but we have so many things that can be shared. And I guess you should have the native experience to all of these devices. And with Android XR coming to many devices, not one single like Apple does it or like Meta does it, it comes to a bunch of devices. And I think with that, we really get a broader range of users.
How difficult is it for a developer to get into this, or was it quite natural for you just testing it with the APIs that are opening now from the different platforms?
As always, it depends.
Okay. Yeah.
So for an Android developer, using Compose XR feels quite natural. It's basically the same, but on another device. Okay. But when 3D comes into play, Unity comes into play, that's something new for me, for example, but there are a lot of developers out there that are familiar with it. And I think the collaboration would be the best you can do there.
Okay, very cool. Scalability, Simon, what do you think? Android XR, will this be one of the things, the new platforms that really bring enough content? Because we're talking about gaming already. Still, I feel when I put on my Meta Quest, it's Beat Saber that I will be playing. It's still like the thing, although there has been many great developments also from Germany travel, for tourism, etc. You can already visit places, prepare a lot. I think that works quite well. But will this be like the moment where you really make it scalable also for business cases? Because in the end, somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? I mean, money rules the world, kind of, no. But in general, I think the competition is good now. Like, on the other hand, right now, we haven't really seen Android XR devices out in the open much right now. A friend of mine is in Korea. He tested Galaxy XR by Samsung, and he's like, okay, it's basically like Vision Pro. Cool. But obviously Android environment, which is cool, right? But it remains to be seen if they can actually act on the promise. I mean, Google broadly introduced their spectrum of Android XR devices from AI glasses, and I think as the curse of maybe nature is the wrong word here, but things are changing, terminology is changing, but I think we will see, and I hope we will see lots of different brands going in there. But on the other hand, I mean, Google announced their partnership with Gentle Monster, they do fashionable glasses, to compete with Ray-Ban and Meta in May. And TikTok, nothing has happened ever since. So I want to see promises fulfilled,
Yes.
and then I can actually say, okay, this will be a game changer for scalability on the market and competition-wise. You're already nodding. Go in, Thorsten.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because you started this saying, like, will it be so now we're getting smaller classes and all that, so will it be the breakthrough or something? I think what a lot of people don't see at this point is it probably won't be the one breakthrough. That's what I've learned. So there is actually adoption in a lot of different areas, a lot of different fields. Consumers play whatever, role play games, and that's a quite healthy, not a super mass market TikTok style, but there's also meetings that are between managers, so innovation meetings. There is a lot of in the product development area. There is a lot of stuff going on. Some use the exact eye tracking things. Others don't use that. They are very important that they have eye tracking. They don't care for that, but because they use what are elves as avatars. So elves, I don't know about elves about eye tracking. So, but this is generally, I think what we have to see is it's not just one smartphone that will come up, so like a successor, but it will be a huge an array of different devices for different tasks. And probably what I've learned over the last years, we should not wait for the one scale moment breakthrough where everybody shows up now with a headset or with a Ray-Ban, but it will be a much more subtle, much more heterogeneous development. But at one point we will look back and say, like, oh, you guys were not wearing one of those, right? And that's the moment where we probably will remember this.
And if I might add, like, especially that kind of situation, I like that a lot, because this waiting and people outside the industry always coming up with, oh, where's the killer app? And it's just like, so what exactly was the killer app of your iPhone? You will always get different answers. It's just like, okay, the first iPhone didn't even have a fucking app store, right? So, oh no, the iPhone moment, as we now look back, didn't really exist. It took time. So, okay, next hour it takes way longer, obviously. But for me personally, even the Apple Vision Pro, which many self-proclaimed experts deem that, are like, I use that device weekly, hours upon hours, for working purposes. And yes, it doesn't, well, where's the benefit in that? But it kind of feels like magic, right? I mean, setting up the Vision Pro, looking at my Mac, connect, boom, screen supersized, like kind of like that. It's really tough to work like that. But anyways, also for gaming, 2D gaming, yes. Does it utilize the spatial capabilities? No, not really. But it's already a game changer for me, my productivity, my entertainment stuff I do. And well, so waiting for one killer app might be a bit off. So it's a broad spectrum, devices and use cases, and these come in as well, right? I mean, obviously we have to talk about wearability, lifestyle. Ray-Ban Metas are selling them in the millions. So it's a start, and we will see much more, hopefully.
What was the killer app for the computer? So that's also something.
I'm not that old.
I think for iPhone it was really taking pictures and not needing a camera anymore, for me, to be honest. And it's the same thing with this little device. And you might see it blink, and that means it's taking a picture in this very moment. Now we have this. I can also talk quite naturally to this device and say, hey Meta, take a picture, and so I can also have it translate Spanish to English or German, and it feels quite natural because it has like a 1 second delay, but that's it, and basically the translation is super good. And to me it feels more natural to have also, we are always talking about the vision, but also the hearing options are quite different. You have more immersion. I still have the feeling of the room, but also a very, very good audio from inside of the glasses. And I think this is something where I would say this is my everyday device that I'm using right now at the moment. And this is what I see as really bringing it to the next level. Maybe also a full immersive device, just somebody put it on your head, which has a really, really good quality. Maybe not exactly Apple Vision Pro, but I mean, you were testing the Apple Vision Pro, so I would say it really comes quite close. You see it's a little heavier, it has 2 lenses, but it gives you like a full immersive option for gaming. We're talking about the nice things, meeting, etc. The other side, of course, which might not be negative, but I want to bring it up today, is defense. What do you see coming in this field? Because we were talking about data collection from everything that's happening, and I think we have to be. We are talking about sovereignty a lot at the moment, especially in Europe. What do you see there? How can this even be prevented from a developer side, that all data is given outside? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I might start as a developer. So one big issue is the platform itself. So with Android XR, Google came up with a platform that requires some AI, some Google services, of course, but there is the Android open source project, which is the base not only for smartphones, but also for the Android XR. With that, many custom ROMs came. And I guess yet it will be quite some time evolving so that we have custom ROMs for Android XR glasses, for example, but it is possible. So all the devices are under our control. Therefore, we can manage what data is handed off. And for the applications we develop, we can use some of the services, but it could remain intact even though the servers were shut down for us, for example.
Okay, perfect.
Let me just add the consumer perspective, because I haven't coded since BASIC was on vogue. So, so the consumer perspective regarding this is always, Billy, you have to consider that. I don't know about you, but among my students and the rest of the world, everybody's using WhatsApp, and nobody gives anything actually about whatever their data. So
except when it's TikTok, then they do.
Ask my son. So it's like, so I think that's something we have to consider. That don't take me as a, hey, it doesn't matter, something like that. But when it comes to adoption, I think that it's about the content, it's about the use case, and if people see that there is value in that, they will find a way to tweak it. Our university, when COVID started, is using Zoom. That's impossible, right? But then pragmatism actually came in, and they very quickly found a way to use Zoom but store all the data. Basically that the local servers intervene with this, and that's the way. I think this is not really at this point. It should not be the main focus of this whole whatever discussion. It should not be like a killer for developing three-dimensional or XR devices.
Yeah, regarding that, so I think first comes the innovation there. We will get better AI models suitable for those devices, and they might come as Gemini Nano, for example, on device. And then we got the switch that we can take back our sovereignty and do it all on the device, for example.
And I think it's necessary when we talk about public defense, etc. I think there are many cases where it's just necessary when we're not talking about entertainment. And even in my life, I want some privacy. I was kind of shocked at the panel at the Mexico, where the vision was, I will not say names now, that the 3-year-old kid will wear these glasses all the time to learn how to brush their teeth right. And this was the moment where I thought, I am really enthusiastic about what's happening, and I'm using these devices all the time, but we have some responsibility, and especially I think from the developer side, having the option of turning things off will stay very relevant. Simon, what's your point of view on this?
I love giving my data away. I don't give a no. I think I can.
Until it's used against you.
You know, I mean, I'm a political representative here, so even if I don't look the part, right? But no, I can't add much more, as like Thorsten already said, or Raphael already did, because in the end, it's a complex situation of, okay, you have convenience on the one hand and pragmatism, and many people don't care at all. And then you have sudden outbursts or outrages where people will be like, oh, I'm deleting WhatsApp, I'm off Facebook, and then they are back again, and all the alternatives fail because you don't create user momentum. And this is a digital topic per se. It's not XR specific, but also we still need to ask these questions. What is happening with our data? But let's check the facts. Like, the big players in our industry are US based, and the alternatives we have are from East Asia, specifically China. And well, it's a complex situation in Europe. Well, of course, we have Vario for high-end enterprise clients, or a Lynx from France with mixed reality headsets, but we don't have that kind of consumer hardware here, like not with that focus. And that's a bit sad, because in other domains it's possible. Like, my tracking ring Aura is from Finland. I have a remarkable paper slate to take notes. That's from Norway. So it is actually possible for European companies to, if they will be funding, and of course that's a complex topic, to compete with US, especially if you have maybe Android XR, then again it's Google, blah blah, and then you're standing there. It's time will tell is always a bad answer, but it's the way it is right now. Sadly, I don't have a better answer for that right now. But awareness might be key to that, and initiatives, obviously,
But it might be a thing, to be honest, because actually I'm working a lot with the startup ecosystems, and these things are being funded right now, either from European Innovation Council, but also from our German government accelerator Sprint. It's just, I think you really need to find the players to connect. On the other hand, I see a lot of industry use cases also reaching out to glasses that are more resistant, to make them regularly use, for example, at BASF for chemicals, etc. So that there is still a need for devices for all these different cases. If you say the market is already like overflooding with devices, it is about the specifications and, as you said, what you build on them, and also how you can use it like as a cross-platform device, maybe for multiple things like in HR, in the industrial case, etc. So yeah, just like you said, we have multiple phones as well. Still, now about the challenges. You said one of the big challenges, we do not really invest into this in Europe. Do you also see this from the developer side for the platforms that need to be built and the infrastructure, and maybe also from the academic side?
From the academic side, really very little has been happening. So it's like when I said, like, I started and I thought, oh, I'm too late. It's tough for us. I'm teaching seminars in, I'm hesitant to call it the metaverse, but in virtual environments. And every time students are excited, managers or MBA students who know the world and are cool. But they are excited, and but there is relatively little progress. By the way, a lot of very cool apps for for XR devices, for VR devices, they come from European companies. So that's on the software side, so on the usage side. So Synergy XR, whatever that was, Glue, where we worked on, and so there's a lot of stuff. But I miss initiatives which would push this, into the more higher awareness ranks. So that's not, I don't see those. I would try to benefit from them, and we're still like kind of independent actors on our own, trying to.
Yeah, and I think we also know each other. It's kind of interesting because Bitkom, like the organization, also the governmental for industry, they have two roundtables. One is for AR, XR, and one is still for metaverse. And I found it quite interesting because I think it's also kind of a marketing term where we got into the wrong direction when we started talking about the metaverse. And either people thought, this what Meta has been building, and it's kind of people with only heads that run around in some space and they have no legs and no arms because there's not enough capacity at the computer, not enough computing power. Or it was, is this Ready Player One finally? And as I see, I think reality is moving us into another direction as we might have been expecting it. So what do you think about the term metaverse nowadays? And then we will have 5 minutes also after one last question for the audience.
Well, it's obviously a marketing term. Like, I mean, XR has been around for decades, and well, I have to hand it to Mark Zuckerberg that no one really got his vision unless you really cared about it. And I think it makes sense to prepare for the kind of human-computer interaction that takes place in 3D environment. Like, we are 3D beings, so why isn't our digital world 3D as well? It doesn't always make sense. Like, written stuff can be way more efficient depending on what you want to do. But the term metaverse, of course, for me personally, I take whatever hype occurs, I will take it. Like we always have from our association side. I mean, what's our mission? We want to educate people about the potentials of technology. And there were lots of discussions about when the metaverse term arose. Like, okay, it was XR before. Should we take this with us? Should we take the same wording? And in the end, for me, it was pretty clear, yes, because this will fade again. After 10 years in the industry, it's just like ups, downs, different wordings. Apple now refrains from, oh no, although our device actually is a VR headset, you are not allowed to call these apps VR. And then going in, they say, okay, now we're calling it spatial computing. Okay, that's kind of like kindergarten, but from a marketing and storytelling narrative perspective, I get it. I just take it and I try to do our best, like in our communication, to actually do some expectation management, right? So what are we actually talking about in its core? Whether it's spatial computing or XR, and it's confusing for people outside of the industry, but that's a core. It's a shift in human-computer, like a paradigm shift in human-computer interaction. And it's a journey. We've been talking about that before. There will not be that point where we're done. And no smartphones and screens will not suddenly disappear and shit like that. So for me, it's exactly that. It's a journey. It's a pit stop on that kind of journey. That's it.
We have to avoid the term metaverse when we submit papers. So that's we have learned that because I think most of all, the term metaverse is now attached to the shrinking of the hype. Mm-hmm. So of the busting of the hype. So it's like hey, you said metaverse, and I said it won't exist, it won't work. Yes, and so it's gone. So that's probably the biggest problem we have, and I think if a person different from Mark Zuckerberg would have come with equal money, but it would have come along, it would have had better chances because there was, I guess, about the developer community also. There are a lot of not fans. Let me just.
But for the believers, by the way, when you asked me 3 years ago, how do I even invest in the metaverse? Because I started talking, I said buy Nvidia stocks. So it was not the worst advice.
But you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me.
You didn't ask.
Yeah, that's.
So maybe now
this was when we thought about what is it really, what it is built upon. It is the infrastructure, and this is what we also see in our company. Of course, in the end, it also comes back to reliable infrastructure, reliable platforms where this is built on, and where it really runs, and where it's not too difficult for the user. As you said, it was super intuitive when you had this Apple Vision Pro moment, and now asking. From now in 5 years, in 2030, what will be the breakthrough moment that you see, okay, now this has really reached the mass market? Will it be everybody wearing one of those devices? Might it be something else that is immersive to us? Is it already here in the Hafen City, having the immersive museums that are popping up everywhere?
There's Sandbox VR, Sandbox VR just on the way here.
Yeah, exactly, that's why. So what is the breakthrough moment? Or is it already there? Do you see it like, we have Sandbox VR out there?
Let me just start. So I think I've disqualified myself from making any predictions. So basically, based on my initial response to, we're too late.
Yeah.
So that's something I think we can't do that. In our research, we do a lot of experiments where we put students put headsets on in relatively big size, like 500 students, and do tests with them and compare that to what we call flat screen devices, how they react. And we always find that there are systematic barriers. So the immersion is the real big thing. So that is tied to value, to user value, because it opens up worlds, it opens up possibilities and all that. I'm sitting in front of you, really, instead of looking at a screen with you. Yeah, it's like that. So, and this is really, really good, and people get value out of this. But there are other things, a lot of different things, which cyber sickness, and also people don't like to wear those. They don't like to be seen with those and stuff like that. So a lot of things. And so eventually, I think it really, really depends on how devices and apps will be developing, how our attitude towards living, enjoying, spending time in virtual worlds will develop. And having said that, I'm relatively sure, given the advantages, the value that I get out of this, it will be part of our array of devices, of time spendings, whatever, all that. But I have no idea when it will happen. I think if Mark tomorrow wakes up and said, like, scrap the metaverse and all that, then it will be another 10 years or something like that. I hope it won't happen. I don't see it happen. I see momentum on the other side, but that would be my moment.
And for the circular moment, coming back to your train, it really gives you privacy. It really helps you, like when you're working on something and you are not supposed to have other people. I had these moments like with a colleague from Bertelsmann where I was sitting next to them and they had something like really private on their laptops. This is this moment sometimes on train. You are safe with these devices in some way. It's kind of cool, I have to say. And also, there's again my moment with the pictures from the iPhone. I love that you can transform them from 2D into 3D and really relive moments of the past, which is for me also when it comes to what AI can do in the future with legacy. It is kind of a really cool thing to dive in and see your grandmother that has passed away or so, like really be alive again on these devices. And that was my breakthrough moment, if I remember it right, on a conference.
But that's also a great thing that I really like to point out in my talks usually is that it's not separated, none of this. It's converging. Like we see that in devices like these we have in front of us. It's not XR versus AI or something. Of course it is in terms of budgetary needs and stuff like that, and maybe focus in certain enterprises, but in general it's pretty clear that it's coming together. And going back to predictions, next year everyone will be running around with these. No, people were and back in 2015 people were coming up like, next year everyone will wear smart glasses. Which ones? Like really, honestly, like based on technologically what? And that's still the case. There's work to be done here, right? They are not ready for spotlight, not all of them. Ray-Ban Meta, okay, check mark. Others, not so much. I mean, bird bath optics are cool, but still bulky as sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, and this will happen inevitably. It will happen. It will take time. And I always recall when people were like, okay, the Apple Vision Pro is such a disappointment. And then my question always will be, like, what exactly did you expect? Like, Apple bending the laws of physics? Not really going to happen. They still have to act in our world, which then creates that circular moment of being, well, reality can't be, you can't erase reality unless you're dead. Well, maybe then you're not part of reality anymore. But now that's getting too philosophical. But I don't think you get what I'm meaning.
I agree with you there, Simon. So I don't think we are getting rid of our smartphones in 5 years from now. No, we don't. But it will be way more common to see someone with these type of glasses, and the industries will adopt. There will be more use cases. And with that, we have that slight transition towards more people using them, actually.
Just the frustration and the potential both were in this 3D 2D moment by the Apple Vision Pro. So when you put it on, when you guys put the Apple Vision Pro on, you can just take every photo and just make it three-dimensional. And I mean like three-dimensional is super crazy.
Yeah.
And I did it with a childhood me going to school with my mom. And then I wanted to show it my mom. Hey, but that's not possible on the Apple Vision Pro. So not only because she was not there, but it's just technically because of privacy and security and all that not possible. So all the potential in the world, all the frustration of a professor. Yeah.
So the shared experience is still missing a little bit. I think they are trying to also find options on this with shared pads, or maybe the phone will help with this so that you see the same thing. Thank you very much. We are now exactly on time, Martin, for questions. I think we still have 5 minutes left, if I'm correct. So yeah, are there any questions from the audience? Mike is there.
First of all, let me thank you having a great talk which not focuses on generative AI, which is really hard to get these days.
Our pleasure.
We could have.
Yeah, great. So I'm a newbie to this topic. I've followed it like I follow a lot of stuff. I heard I'm interested in merging the reality, the real reality, with the virtual one. And I heard that some of the products make people kind of seasick. And the problem is my use case is on a sailboat where people from time to time get seasick without the glasses. So what's the state on that topic?
Sure, okay. There are many layers to it. Like, of course, there is the personal tolerance people have, like having put on VR headsets and other devices onto thousands upon heads. There's a tolerance degree that you simply will find out once people put these on. Other factors are hardware, like in low frame rates really trigger these kinds of feelings, bad user design, and of course there are experiences that will create a vestibular conflict, which means your inner ear gives a different stimuli as your visual periphery. And this will create a break in many people's brains, so easily phrased, it's probably not the right term here. But in general, you can avoid this via design quite a lot, and mixed reality devices usually don't trigger that kind of, well, that kind of response usually, but there's no guarantee that you won't have it. But I think the general sentiment originates quite a lot from very bad onboardings and people trying Google Cardboard in the beginning and stuff like that 10 years ago, and it holds up pretty well. For example, the Apple Vision Pro doesn't, from my experience, make people... It's great that it's an Android XR talk, and we're still speaking a lot about Apple Vision Pro.
But may I add that last year at the Next Reality Festival, we had the solution with the windows for the boats, because why does it have to be glasses? You can think in bigger versions, especially when you're on a boat. What do you want to show? If you want to show, okay, you can have an add-on, it can be like a full window that is immersive. So that solution, I favor as this. I voted for it. It won last year because I thought, don't just think in one device. It might come up with another device that serves the purpose a lot more, like in the museums, and it has to match with what your needs are.
Long story short, let's talk about your use case and find the right solution.
There's an app, by the way, a sailboat app on the Meta. So I had a colleague who had a sailboat and he loves it, and he got seasick as he gets seasick in the real life. Yeah, so he enjoyed being seasick then.
So, one more question. Martin,
This is a lot more exciting to ask questions from here, actually.
do it.
So my question is, I agree when it comes to adoptability, I'm not sure if there will ever be this iPhone moment. Like, I think it's a problem of, wrong word, accessibility. I think the Ray-Bans are a good example, but I think that the benefit versus the discomfort it creates, like there is this, I don't know, everyone I put a VR glass on over the last 10 years was like, this is so cool, amazing. And still every time I play mini golf with Shah on VR every week, they are all looking at me like I'm stupid. And so my question is, it's not so much about like when will this come, but from your experience, or like from what you think, what is that this thing that keeps the people from, this is amazing, and still no one wants to go into VR and play mini golf every week, even though it's super cool, like it's the best, especially when you don't live near each other.
This is what we study. So, and this is exactly all the barriers, because we know about the benefits. So we know it's there. So, and I think it really has to do, it's a radical innovation, and people are just not used at looking at other people who put stuff on their head. I remember a family member of mine had brought this to the Christmas gathering, and so I asked, okay, so it was a family member and her husband wanted to put it on and was very eager to explore. And then she was like Tom Cruise style, jumping on a sofa and saying, that's ridiculous. So and that's something that must have triggered something very, very fundamental in her. And I think that's something that we all kind of know, and you see a lot of this bad talk, this looks ridiculous and stuff. And I think it's really, I don't feel ridiculous when I look at them. I find them actually pretty okay and even cool sometimes.
Yeah, but
So,
there's a reason, and it is why Apple Vision Pro put the eye function on it. You don't see other people's eyes anymore.
but if you put on sunglasses, you don't see the eyes of others, and you don't find it ridiculous. So anyway, but my point is, there is a lot of social adjustment, social getting used to things, and we don't know how long this will take. That would be my best guess.
But that said, like this, with these glasses, people are only feeling awkward because they think I'm talking to myself or to them, and I'm not. And this is also an awkward moment, to be honest, sometimes.
Yeah, so I think the form factor is just the thing. So you, in future, you don't want to put these Qi glasses on and be blend out of the world. You want to blend in.
I'd like to add there as well, like a real talk, like I enjoy VR, but after a long day of work, I seldom feel a need to actually put on a Quest or a Vision Pro. It's one long day, let me chill on my couch, and especially with my partner, and we're watching a series. Form factor is amazing, and also the social aspect, like things are changing. I mean, mentioning that, like, okay, people think I'm talking to myself. Honestly, like, isn't it like the same with AirPods and stuff like that? But it's now learned, right? I mean, people know if you have these toothbrush hats in your ear, you're probably talking not to yourself, but to someone else. And that's, yeah, absolutely. And it's a complex situation, hardware, software, social stuff. So no easy answer to that.
So let's see when the moment comes when everybody then asks to join in the game.
Yeah, I wanted to add something to that. I actually do think it's a good thing that it didn't take off as much as I think the potential of the actual experience is, because at the moment, VR, XR, whatever, anything where you put glasses on your face to experience or overlay something or see something that you don't see usually, it does detach you from reality. And if you think about something like Ready Player One, where I think it's a it's a good sign that we are not at a fucked up stage of world that everyone needs to flee into this detached world constantly.
Approaching.
Not yet.
Exactly. Yeah, but
Let's hope that this community helps us stay away from that. And I think we are now just 5 minutes away
yeah,
from
I
lunch.
think-
So,
maybe you can ask the question afterwards.
yeah, sure. We are still here for some minutes, I guess, and also at Next Reality Festival. So thank you very much for the panel. I've learned a lot again just sitting here with you guys. Thank you, Martin, for inviting us. Yeah, I love code talks. It's always something new ahead of time. Still investing into NVIDIA. I don't know. Maybe there will be. So, but we think immersiveness will not go away anymore, and yeah, I think it's happening, and in 5 years it will be even more. So thank you very much, and have a nice lunch.